Welcome to Body Work.
Please fasten your seatbelts.
I had 11 Olympians and over 800 national champs. And all those men, they wouldn't do half the work that she do. And I'm seeing it from the young ladies. These last 2 years, when you think about it, all the good fights is coming from the women. The guys is ducking each other, looking for the easy way. I'm telling you like it is, you know? So again, you know, this young lady done did everything I asked of, and she did more. And I'm watching all the young ladies that's boxing now. It's like they trying to prove they better than men. Now, we knew they was kind of there, but now they showing that they mean. You know, and
Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Body Work Boxing. And once again, I'm here with the man. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Salute, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, King Amin of Essex in the building with my guy, my comrade, Mr. Rogers himself, in your neighborhood, bringing that body work, ready to flood your basement. You know, once you flood the basement, the foundation's done. The head will soon fall. We in the championship rounds. King Amin of Essex on Instagram, also on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. Get at me.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Welcome back, man. You know, I just wanted to continue what we've started, you know what I'm saying, in the last couple episodes of Boxing Minds, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of controversy, and we've been on this, the music game as it relates to the boxing game, right? And one
Absolutely.
of the biggest names in the game right now with a lot of controversy behind it is a 2-letter word or name, and that's Ye. Right? So when we thinking about artists and controversy and numbers, and you know, I said I was gonna throw a grenade at you. I ain't say I was gonna throw a grenade in your lap. You know what I'm saying? One of the most controversial names currently in there, I would say, is Wilder. When I heard Roy Jones describe Wilder, he was talking all glowing about all the adjectives and this and that about him. He said, you might not always understand him. And I think we see that a lot with Ye. You know, the people's champ, the guy that everybody saying, yeah, but some of the things, some of the moves sometimes kind of can be a little bit like, You look at it objectively, it will make you actually shake your head. So with statements being made and things like that, and not as far as the politics, I'm talking about as far as we know the genius in that right hand. Sure. We know the genius in Ye as far as being able to play that music, right? We also seen glimpses of Wilder doing music. He had a nice little single out. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, I was job impressed.
Yeah.
So I said, just like Ye has, you know, he was known to be a musical genius. He flipped over to fashion. You see where I'm going? So I'm trying to draw. I'm going with some analogies right now. And in the last controversy, as far as statements, taking hits and numbers, we see the stock in Ye taking hits, and we seen the last pay-per-view taking hits. And it's this thing where it's a combination of when you do everything you need to do, when you get up to the top, it's a saying that they say, heavy is the head. And so a lot of times, a lot of the choices, a lot of decisions, a lot of things that you say, you know what I'm saying, can have a lot of ramifications and consequences. And we just had an episode this week with the talented Mr. David Morrell.
Yeah.
And the results of the opponent. We know that one time Mr. Wilder said he want to go in there and catch your body. You know?
Yeah.
Very controversial. And then I always say, well, there's times where we don't really know the boxers a lot of times, right? Sometimes we get a little up close glimpse. You know, we do our research. We learn them over the years. We see them do the document. Maybe you know, you might get to ask the question, or, you know what I'm saying, you go to know them from a distance.
Sure.
Right? So all we really see is what they give us, what they put out. So a lot of times the fans, I find myself having to like listen to fans actually explain their favorite fighters. A lot of times I've been actually hearing a lot of people, especially in this digital social media era where everybody's, you know, doing what we do and commentating and throwing out their opinions and everything. I'm always hearing what was interpreted of what Ye was saying from the fans.
You know,
Right.
with that comparison, I want to build on that for a second, because Wilder is definitely, I would say, is divisive with his opinions, because he is one that will stand on a very unpopular opinion. And, you know, if it divides him from the masses, or, you know, divides his fans from, you know, others, you know, other fans of the sport, yeah, he's polarizing in that way for sure. Believing his own genius, you need a little bit of that audacity. So when it comes to doing the music, like, in his mind, he's as great as a musical artist as he is as a fighter, you know. But and you spoke to some things, again, unpopular opinion about, does he have the ability to adjust some of that boxing, or is he strictly going to rely on that genius right hand?
Right.
You know, we question now, do he got the right people in his corner? Like we questioned it, do Ye got the right people in his corner? Because some, and I've questioned it to a degree, is Malik Scott really telling him, like, bruh, I'm not going to take your money. If I don't see you working with your jab, if I can't tie your right arm behind your back and just let you go to work, I can't take your money from you. Or does he let Wilder dictate the pace of it like you let geniuses do, right? So it's a very real correlation when you put that on the table. Now, when you talk about how, you know, and let's use Wilder's fan base, right? They can be rabid, bomb squad, we know all of that, right? You do hear a lot of fighters kind of justifying and explaining and articulating their fighter's character, even though, again, we learn it from vignettes, we learn it from interviews, hell, we learn it from their style, but somehow these guys get to know so much about them, right?
Right.
And then they come and tell us, well, you don't understand because, right? Right? So, but I think just like the music industry, that's why we putting two and two together. You no longer can buy into the music of your favorite artists. Now you got to go past the music and invest in them and try to learn more about them, because that's what'll sustain you. The music is too disposable. The fights is too disposable, right? Whether it's because of streaming or it's because they not giving us worth what we're paying for. Okay, cool. We can't judge Wilder off of the fight with Helenius. We still have to buy into who he is as a fighter and accept him, because then what's going to happen is we're going to say, well, you know, he's coming off of a loss and you know, he needed that, and things we might understand as patrons of the sport, but we can't necessarily ascertain from the distance where we stand, you know. So you draw some very poignant correlations for which it continued this discourse on how the music industry of boxing is so cross, brother.
Yeah. So okay, you built.
Let's cook.
It's you built on. I often wear this shirt, right? I often wear this shirt. What would Breland do? Right?
Let's go there.
I always wear that. And I was one of the guys that said, hold up. You heard a guy that you once knocked out before to train you over this Olympian. right? This Olympian, arguably one of the best amateurs in boxing, right?
Absolutely.
It was a jacket put on him that he never really was teaching them how to do certain things. And this is, I'm like, well, it was other things that was coming out saying, well, he didn't want to listen and this and this and that. So we arrived, long story short, we arrived at Malik Scott. That was a questionable choice, right? Some of the things that Ye do is a questionable choice, but oftentimes it's a lot of yes men that let you just slide because they know it's a bag coming. They'll co-sign. Ain't nobody really pulling your coattails saying, hey, hey, hey. Does it get to a point where sometimes where you get so high on your horse to where life humbles you? Because they say life comes at you fast.
Sure.
You know, so I'm looking at like the events of like what happened this past week, and I was thinking, man, if it wasn't for what Breland did, man, Wilder would never have came back to fight. So the bigger thing and what I really want to see is like in the sport, we see it getting more competitive. We see people growing up and watching some of the greats. We know that the technology and just like world records are still being broken. People are getting stronger, faster. So there's an evolution in these athletes. But part of the game is like you can't play boxing.
Yeah.
You need coaches like a Mark Breland that say, hey, man, enough is enough. Because it's always my theory. It's always my theory that the fighter should never quit. The corner has a responsibility when you see that your fighter can't win. When you see that he's too far behind, he's taking more punishment. He can live to fight another day. It's the corner's fault. Nobody ever talks about that. And that's sometimes that's one of the things that I think that because Breadman had to do it. Breadman had to do it when his guy was going up against Benavidez. And he said, look, it was the accumulation. I could hear that man. I see that man on interviews. He still got all his faculties. He can still box. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to say, I wanted to take time because I don't think that the appreciation for like having the proper coaching in your corner is ever, is that important. Like, do we let people just run off on these tangents to just get too far? Well, sometimes it's like we gotta be real. And if there were checks and balances along the way, maybe it don't get to the point of some of the things that we're seeing with the Yays or these people that make these drastic decisions when they get all this money.
Yeah.
Gambling in the spot when you got a whole album to drop, like, you know what I'm saying? Just is it too many yes men in the industry? Does it lead to, or do us not saying something about these things? Does it lead to things like that? And
Absolutely.
That was the grenade I was going to drop in your lap, man, because I never really get to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, this is no suit and tie. This is dialogue. I just wanted to see you off the cuff how you was going to come with it.
And honestly, I think that's a conversation that needs to continue to be had because I think, when you have a coach and somebody that care about you versus somebody that know they in pocket with you or y'all can make money together or they make you feel good. And we see both of these industries are very predatory. We see it more in the music industry because it's some more variety, but it's predatory in that way. So look, I'm going to say this. You want me to talk about it? Let me talk about it because when I see Shakur Stevenson standing next to Jay Prince, I'm not particularly fond of it. Not at all. Right. Because I would say to myself, number one, the biggest thing where I was disappointed, if you had something to do and Shakur is projected to be one of the greats, why do you have him in a public service announcement in the rain over some goddamn Rolls Royce umbrellas with NBA Youngboy? That's out of his jurisdiction. But again, look how they intersect. Right. And look how I would say, again, do you have people in your corner that look out in your best interest, that will not allow that sort of predatory behavior, because I think that's predatory. No matter which way you look at it, you say, yeah, I'm going to manage you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to look after you. All that is cool. But if you're really looking after me, it's certain things that people, even on the ground level, they look after you. You never have to see what they do for you. Right. But to kind of be a part of the spectacle, if, again, as a man of a certain age, you want to put yourself on the front line, put yourself on the front line. Don't put that kid on the front line with you. Hell, put one of your kids on the front line. Don't put somebody else's kid on the front line. I got to
Yeah.
say that honestly and truly.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed at that. And that's
Yeah.
the kind of stuff we see. So that's Jay Diaz. That's Jay Diaz out of Wilder's camp. You know what I'm saying? That's the guy that says, well, I'm not really a part of the day-to-day. I'm more like the general manager. I kind of pick who the coaches is and who the coordinators are, and I just kind of put it together. Where Mark Breland is like a coach or a coordinator, and he's saying, I got a hurt player. And what the GM say? Oh, put him in the game anyway, because he trying to reach a benchmark. And that's who the fans came to see. Or hell, bring it back to the music industry standards, right? Hey, do we want NBA YoungBoy in Chicago? Knowing that there's issues between these camps? Oh, we think we're going to sell more tickets anyway. The venue's insured anyway, right?
Hey, it's a marketplace for the type of fans, man. And I think the fans, I mean, it's been so much dialogue lately about it. And the only reason why I'm gonna tie it all in, I'm gonna bring it all the way smooth back into where we was going with it, right? And the reason why I brought up Wilder, because I didn't want it to have a negative connotation. I was just reflecting on what happened this past week with the David Morrell fight.
Sure.
Thinking about, the subject matter that we have at hand and connecting some dots. And I never really got to fire off at anybody. But on Wilder's return, he said that I've never heard him talk about boxing as a business as much on this tour back. And then right after that, we see the music video, right? And you hadn't made some comparisons because just as early as this evening, I seen Eddie in the car, and I actually saw that whole little press conference, and I was so excited, man. I was wishing the fights was tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you have made a comparison that he was the Master P. And we're talking more and more about business. Last time we got a little bit into the business. I threw a grenade in your lap with the situation with Ye and Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Because genius and genius and, words and words and action, they all go hand in hand. So I'll tone it down and I'll just go up to Eddie and bring it back to Eddie and say, did you get a chance to see it, or have you been watching or paying attention?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what he's doing, especially what we got coming up this weekend, hey, he went and did what we need, or what they call that regional market. He hit that regional market, and he took a fighter like Montana Love, who's been on a lot of other cards. He's been on the Jake Paul thing. He's been on some more serious cards, and he put it right in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. Then he takes two guys from Jersey, one from North Jersey, New York City metropolitan area, one guy from South Jersey, Philadelphia metropolitan area, and he's trying to see if that crowd will travel to Cleveland. That's good business. That's Master P saying, hey, you know something? Instead of me trying to sign a marketable artist, only time he did that was Snoop, or Mystical rather, right? He did it twice. I mean, I say that twice. And again, he tried. Well, I really don't want to compare Boo Boo to Mystical. Canelo was like Snoop, though. You're taking a known commodity is what I'm trying to say. It's just of the two, one was a known commodity and the other was a regionally perhaps known commodity, or somebody that you thought you could build on. You know what I'm saying? A great feature artist. You know what I'm saying? But Snoop was a known commodity. Canelo was a known commodity. Master P knows how to do business with known commodities because he knows how to take. And so crazy, right? Silk the Shocker, he's the blue face before the blue face.
Yeah.
The offbeat rapper, like, you're like, what the hell are you? Like, that's the, and again, who started that? Master P. No Limit, Their influence is very, even when A$AP Rocky and his crew did their resurgence, or, when they came on the scene in 2011, they was talking about that tank business, like Master P, that regional, again, using a Southern sound in New York City, capturing the imagination of a region. And so Eddie already got the UK, capture the imagination of a region, and he's bringing that stateside. We talked about before how he had Sky Nicholson and Ramla Ali, their first few fights, the first 6 fights, probably each fighter was in the United States.
Yeah.
Ramla Ali's first fight home was her last fight. So Eddie knows how to build that grassroots, and he can take anything and try to make a product of it. So when COVID went down, he did the fight camp. Master P got noodles, sneakers, diapers, water, chips. He got everything.
He got
Eddie's
every-
going to find a way to turn some dollars off of boxing because, again, you look at what DAZN is, not that, you know, and I'm not sure what his hand in all of that is. They got sports that ain't even sports that pay for the balance to take the sacrifice of the boxing ventures.
Yeah, sports that ain't even sports. Hey,
Snooker, like the
I was looking at Eddie's bringing out this young lady, Beatrice, and she's doing something unprecedented. A la Master P. They said that she's coming out and she's doing 6 3-minute round fights for her opening debut against a lady that's 5-0. She's a Brazilian 2-time Olympian making her pro debut. They saying she's gonna be the next best thing.
I heard about her. Yeah,
And Eddie is bringing her out. You know, so I'm like, man, Eddie, I think he's a fast learner. We talked about it last time about him making adjustments. You know what I'm saying? I think Eddie's making some good adjustments, man. I'm just lit for that card. The other one you actually said was you compare Oscar and P. Diddy.
yes, always compare him to P. Diddy. He's forever gonna be P. Diddy. You wanna know why? Because it's nobody's gonna outshine the master. It don't matter who on Golden Boy. Nobody on Golden Boy's legacy will be more golden than the boys. And he ain't gonna let that happen. And it's his ego, and it's like he has the ability to shape and craft and mold, but he just doesn't know how to relinquish control. So there's always a bitterness from people that move on from him. It's a rare opportunity. People don't, they don't meet the same tragic fate as they do with Bad Boy. There's such a thing as the Bad Boy curse. People often leave indignant if they leave at all, with their lives sometime. And, it's not a pleasant sight. I mean, the females, the Sherry Dennises of the world, it's female singers, already Danity Kane, like Day 26, you know what I'm saying? The band, some of these guys have done individual things, but it's a lot of bodies. It's a lot of bodies over there in the Bad Boy graveyard. You understand? It's a lot of bodies over there in the Golden Boy graveyard.
Hey, a couple had to go down to the little street, the little battle raps, They out there battle rapping now, So yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Rashidi over there at PBC, and but enough about old Oscar. I drew a comparison of I was wondering, man, who would be the Jay-Z? And only one I kept saying was probably Money. Money, man.
Yeah. And I mean, it's that idea of who is the show, who could come back and retire and do what he wants. Ain't Floyd fighting this weekend? Fighting Deji or some shit, man. He fighting this weekend. Yeah. And listen, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I've been saying it for a while. Floyd Mayweather is the reason why I keep saying that Keith Thurman needs to retire. Keith Thurman, his bars is like, you know what I'm saying? His bars ain't hitting no more because Floyd Mayweather has been more active in more fights, whether you want to call them exhibitions or not, than Keith Thurman. And that's just that's unprecedented, Keith Thurman reminded me of Mace. You gonna do more talking or you gonna do more rapping? What is you, a preacher? Is you a rapper? Like, which one is you? Is you the welterweight? Like, you just you talking at everybody. This is the first time Mace actually stood on what he's been saying after 20 years even 20 years after the welcome back. Just what are you doing? Are you in the way? And then he got hot off of ripping off Fabio Foreign. So Keith Thurman, he got hot off of talking about he coming back and he's the greatest, and then coming back and fighting Mario Barrios. Like, that's how you got hot? Like, nah, buddy, you macing it. You out here macing it. Now, let me say, he does have the opportunity to show and prove because Mace got a hot joint out with Cameron and Jadakiss right now.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, so okay, and with the same surprise and the same curiosity one might have for that particular track, we want the same curiosity to see Keith Thurman perhaps fight one of these young guys if the fight with Spence or someone else is not going to happen. but he really did not do well, at least in my opinion, for himself. He got on the track, you know, and he was trying to do Afro beats. That's not his vibe. You know what I'm saying? He tried to do reggaeton when he did that Barrios joint. It's not his vibe. With that fight, that did not do well for his legacy for me. It did not do well to reestablish him. And sometimes you need another hit. Maybe you need one of these young boys on the track. Get with Virgil Ortiz, man. Get with Boots, man. Them young boys will put you on. They doing music different now.
Nah, I think they will
Saying,
retire
Keith.
Keith proper, man. Proper, like they say over there in the UK, man. He will get the proper retirement. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's gonna happen with Keith, man. I really don't know. I'm just, man, 47 kind of got me with a headache right now, man. I just, you know, it got me with a headache. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm just like, I'm disappointed, man, in what's going on. Tired of debating. Go ahead.
Well, you know, to your point though, you know, Jay-Z and Mayweather is the closest comparison, and I think, you know, do you still want to hear Jay-Z records? Some people don't mind. They don't mind hearing a verse. So some people are okay with this whole exhibition thing. Me personally, you know, I'm not really checking for. I got nothing against Jay. Listen, I'm from Jersey. I could never have nothing against Jay-Z. All right, especially he was shouting out, you know, Trenton like early in the game. So no, I don't got. But it's just, I'm just, you know what I'm saying. I'm not interested in hearing Jay. If I like, he told me if I want to listen to old Hove, I'm gonna listen to old Hove. All right, I'm gonna go listen to Reservoir Dogs. I'm gonna go listen to something like that. You know, not whether he can or he can't. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Floyd really in the ring at all. I don't want to see him against one of the young guys. I don't want to see him at all. I want to see him do something different. I want to see him reinvent himself within the sport somehow, and maybe I might be more intrigued to watch. But I'm not checking for no Jay-Z albums, like I'm not checking for this Deji fight. This motherfucker fought his sparring partner, Archie Moore, or somebody's Don Moore. Come on, man.
No, man, I'm thinking like this. Like, it would be okay. I would be okay with, you know, I would be okay with seeing and hearing from Jay if Gotti and all the other people that he's affiliated that's up under that wing and, you know, that's pushing it. If you see, because that's when I look at the May thing, it's like, hold on, you fighting more than Tank now. It's like you have more of a priority than Tank now. You know, I don't know if
Jay always been like that though. Jay always been like that though too.
Yeah, I mean, I know I got some theories about some style switch ups and some, you know what I'm saying, some vampire isms, you know what I'm saying, that was going on. You know, it was a lot of cats that was doing that. Going back to the Young Guns and the Young Chris style, my man talk about it all the time, how that little whispery, I run down on you, walk
Stole
down
that
on
from Philly.
man, just give me that, you know what I'm saying? Sit down over there, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and look, real quick, the Philly Shell and the Philly Whisper as we compare Floyd and Jay, right?
Yeah, so, you know, I wouldn't mind though. On a serious, I wouldn't mind hearing and seeing from them. But like, I'm thinking like now the fighters are an afterthought. People are getting out, and then you hearing them blow in other places, like Richardson Hitchens getting with Matt Troop and getting lit, trying to get up. You know what I'm saying with Montana Love. You know, I mean.
Yeah,
He's one of the ones that actually escaped from over there, and, you know, and actually have, you know, it's light at the end of the tunnel for that guy.
He's out of New York, right?
Yes.
And I forgot about him. He's on that card in Ohio. So again, they trying to see if we can get that East Coast to go into the beginning of the Midwest. They're like, hey, if y'all got family out in Pittsburgh, you know what I mean? Drive a little bit further to Cleveland a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is very, very smart of Hearn, because build one of these young guys. Don't even try to play around and you know, sign one of these older cats and then want to pay them for so much money. Again, get you a younger artist and work out a good split with him instead of having an older cat that's going to come and he going to need a big budget and he going to need a professional weed roller and he going to need the private jet. He gonna need all that shit. He gonna need studio time. Even though they're recording on the laptop, he gonna need all that shit because that's what he's used to. So these older fighters, you know, they want I mean, you see what's happening, you know. Terrence Crawford is like, nah, I need to see the money. I need to know the money's gonna be there. Like grandma with that money in the stash. I ain't putting it in no bank, right? The young boys is like, nah, I got everything on my Apple Pay. I got it on here. I got it on there. You know what I'm saying? Old heads ain't going for that shit.
Yeah. I don't know, man. As far as the curriculum,
Want to dip into that a little bit?
Yeah, I didn't know if you had, because I wanted to wrap it up, because I got some man, this opened up a whole nother can of worms, you know, for a whole nother theory and concept that I want to build on now. But as far as the curriculum, man, when I go back and I watch the playbacks and I break it down, man, there's a lot of jewels in there.
Sure.
And I didn't know if you had anything in the tank left, because I know you was really inspired about it.
Yeah, and really just to give people a little game they could play, you know, just take your favorite fighter or a fighter you like and think about the music landscape and play a little like match game. So for example, I said we was going to do a little bit of this before we get up out of here. Like just take a fighter like let's just say Benavidez and Plant. Caleb Plant, he's not Eminem, not at all, but he's Jack Harlow, okay? Even if you want to put the Justin Bieber title on him, and it has nothing to do with character. We're talking about their presence in a landscape that's dominated by people that don't look like them, and they happen to sound with a reasonable degree of credibility, like they belong in this genre. All right, so you can just look at it and say, yo, before I start disrespecting the guy, say, yo, do I listen to this guy? Do I respect the way this artist put it down? If I respect the way Bieber or Jack Harlow do it, let me give Caleb Plant that same type of perspective. Let me not be dismissive of him. Let me not say he's a culture vulture. You know what I'm saying? Respect the journey he might have had and the fighters that stamp him because of how hard he get down. In the same way with these artists, you know? So that's just one little angle you could play with it, you know?
Yeah. I like that. And I'm starting to, it's crazy, man, because I'm starting to see Benavidez. He's starting to talk about, now he's talking about Andre and David Morrell. I just seen an interview where he talk about both of them now. Now the fight on with Plant and all that extra sauce that he had, that kind of went away.
Well, Benavidez, man, I'm not sure who or what I can compare him as an artist to, because respectfully, his music ain't hitting for me yet like that, right? I hear about him. I heard a joint or two, but is he album worthy? I don't think Benavidez is album worthy. He ain't put together enough singles for me. What's his biggest hit, right? Okay, cool. Not only that, what I want to do is I need to hear him on a track with somebody and see how he rock. Can he hang? He's on a situation, on a label, with a promoter. PBC is deep. He got to make himself hot, right? So listen, he making himself hot. Now he want to talk about Boo Boo because Boo Boo got some independent. Boo Boo's got nothing to lose. Boo Boo dealt with Eddie Hearn. He couldn't pop independently, went his separate way, okay? So I don't know what he's got planned, but can you imagine you on PBC and you supposed to have this machine behind you? And we talked about Ryan doing it. Now we got Benavidez trying to use this man's freedom and his momentum to get himself hot because he heard that we don't like the fights that he's trying to take. So cool. Do this track with Jack Harlow. I want to see if you can sing like Justin Bieber. I want to see if he can hang with Caleb Plant if that fight happens, and then perhaps we can give him a little bit more credibility in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is they're going to tell him, hey, you on the big stage now. Remember all that? All them mixtape, all them demos you were putting down? And they're going to tell him, get on the stage and break a leg. You know what I'm saying? And I think, man, I don't know, man. Early on, man, I'm gonna be the first one to say I got Plant, man. I got Plant. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say it now. You know, I just want to wait and see because you know, Caleb Plant can talk that. He can talk that talk. He can get up under your skin, man. And I think he about to get the full Monty, man. I think Benavidez getting ready to get the full Monty. He about to get Caleb Plant about to get in that head like he do, get up under that skin like he do everybody when he start talking that talk. And then he's going to get in the ring and show him something, man. This is going to be maximum exposure, and this is one of the age-well games that I've been talking about, and I want to see if Benavidez is the real deal. You got to show me something. I'm from the show me state on this one.
You know something? You hit the nail on the head. You jumped out there early. You stole my thunder. You hit me, body. Cause I got Plant too, man. It's something about his movement, his confidence. Not even about the power, but maybe Benavidez relying too much on them slappy combos that he's not turning all the way over, and his feet not quite getting where they might need to be against Plant. I see Plant making this fight easier than what people might expect. But yeah, man, you hit the nail on the head with that one, man. I like what's happening with that one, and he's got to show us. He's got to show us. I like when we come together and just give people these gems. Please go back, ladies and gentlemen, and check out that first one and play that game. Take your favorite fighter, think of your favorite artist, and look, is that artist, that fighter, getting the shine they deserve? Are they in position? Are they with the right promoter? And play that game,
Yeah, it's a good game to play and help you have better boxing dialogue. Everybody keep, they get stuck on who's winning and who's this. They don't even really talk about the aspects of the game, like who has the better jab, who is the better ring general, whose defense is better, who has the better footwork, who's more of a technician, who can make adjustments. All you hear is who was on TikTok, who was first on Twitter. So it is a good game to play if you want to get more a more closer look and have a better dialogue when it comes to talking about boxing. So I wanted to close that up, man, and close that chapter. This whole boxing minds thing. You know what it is boxing minds over boxing mouths. You know what I'm saying? Here at Boxing Minds. But yeah, man, I'm excited for Saturday, man. Any last thing you want to plug your channel? You want to, what you want to do?
Yeah, man, definitely excited about Saturday, man. I definitely thank you for having me on. This is always a great opportunity to build with you. Check me out. We got the championship rounds. We've been getting it in lately. Shout out to Francois Cruz DeZern. I know you watching. Appreciate you, sis. Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to everybody dropping a comment. Everybody subscribing. We're going to keep working. And I just, if you're not taking the time to really study the sport, if you just fixated on your favorite fighter and you just fixated on what they do on social media and you're not really going back and learning about that fighter and not really just trying to learn a little bit more, you're going to find yourself using your mouth a little bit more, and you might have to box. But if you use your boxing mind, you can have a little bit better dialogue. So appreciate y'all for hanging out with us, man. This is what we do, and we do what we love, for reals.
That's a good one, man. All right, champ. Well, shoot, you have a good evening, man. We'll link up, man, and we definitely will link up before these fights and wrap it up. I'll wrap to you offline. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir,
All
man.
Right,
Appreciate you, man.
Evening, bro.
All right, you too, man.
All right, peace.